Hey guys, welcome back to another one. We had a few people ask if we can do more with HS6, so that's what we're doing today. This is going to be a 14 pellet assembly of 31 cal single-aught buck. Now the components are very similar to what I put together a few days ago with the number 4 buck. We're using a 3-inch clear Shadot hull. That still has powder in it actually. We're using this stuff right here, 25. We're aiming for around 1100 FPS with this one. Not too fast, but also not too slow. The TUPRW 123 wad, it's the 3-inch 12 gauge wad. A 1/4 inch 20 gauge felt wad. Then 14 pellets of 31 cal single aught. These are powder coated all sorts of different colors, as you can see. I have pink, green, purple, red, watermelon color. I don't know. Some of them are coated. They're just tumbled and polished. But yeah, these are powder coated. Some of them anyway. And lastly, of course, we're going to use some ITX buffer, which again is my favorite. This has been rebranded to BSB. Now, to get this started, well, we already have 25 in there. So, our precision wad. I love that thing. Next, 1/4 inch 20 gauge felt wad. I actually need a wad tamper because that wad is really thick and my fingers get stuck in it and end up pulling it out. By the way, this stuff right here is Josh's favorite powder. It's one of my favorites too. It's not quite as versatile as Longshot is, but still, it's a really good one. Next, we need 14 of 31 cal single aught. And as you can see, that 14 pellets comes up right to the top of the wad. Can't fit anymore. You can do 16 with a roll crimp though, but those last two might end up being fires. Don't know. But 14 fits in it just fine. It'll keep the entire pattern together. And because this wad has extremely thick, very sturdy petals, it tends to pattern really good. It actually might pattern better than a TPS or LBC 50, but you are limited to pellet size. 31 cal is the biggest size I can fit in it, and you're also limited with capacity just a little bit, again, because the petals are so thick. A TPS actually holds more lead, especially birdshot. That being said, if you're using TSS, this is probably the best wad you can use. Some ITX buffer. This needs 2 scoops of a Lee 2.2 cc dipper. After you get your buffer settled, well, throw on an overshot card and we're pretty much ready to crimp this. Back station of the Lee load all is the 6-point crimp. Well, that came out really well. I know it's hard to see. Clear hulls don't really show up too well on camera. That's okay. Got BN2. And that did its job really well. I know it's hard to see once again, but I think you can kind of make out the lip on it, or maybe not, I don't know. But we are ready to fold crimp this, and it's going to look great. And check that out, if you can. Come on. That might be as good as this going to get, guys. This being a clear hull with a wide overshot card, it's just not going to show up too well on camera, but that is a really good crimp. I'll hit this with a GOT BN2, and I'll get back with you. So here's what it looks like now. Again, I know it's kind of hard to see, but we do have a really nice taper on it. That is a beautiful shell, and I did forget to put the paper towel in it again to prevent powder migration. You might be able to see some there, but overall, really good looking shell. Looks like factory, if factory put out something like this. So we're probably going to end up doing a full range video on just this wad right here using various sizes of buckshot. And next turkey season, we'll come up with some turkey assemblies for you guys using that wad. It's a really good one. We've seen a lot of people have really good results with that wad. So we want to experiment with it a little bit too. Now we have shot a few in mostly 10 gauge, but a couple 12 gauge too. And we always have really good patterns, and I don't know why we haven't done much with them before, but I think it's time we start. As far as I know, these only come in 10, 12, and I think 20 gauge. I don't remember seeing a 20 gauge one, but I would imagine they make one in 20 gauge. That's typically the way it goes with the high-end wads. They at least come in 10, 12, and 20. With the TPS, you have 10, 12, 20, 28, and 410. Although the 20 gauge TPS wad is actually an LBC, they don't really make a true TPS 20 gauge wad. They also don't make one for 16 gauge. But that's okay, because 16 gauge does have a couple really good non-tox wads, the CSD 16 and the BP 1680. Both of those are very good wads. The BP 1680 is actually pretty close to a TPS wad. They're actually made with the same resin, and there's very little difference between the two. Basically, non-tox wads are really good for buckshot and turkey loads, as you guys probably know. But precision reloading might just make the best one for patterns, although again, it does have limited capacity. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to end this one here. Please like and subscribe. We always appreciate that. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll get back to you. And if you want to, go check out our Patreon. It's as low as $1 a month, and you guys get early access to content. A link to that, as well as a link to our Instagram, Rumble, and merch store will be in the description below. But other than that, you guys take it easy. We'll see you in the next one.